Hi, and welcome to Three Questions With. Got my friend Electra with us from USA Tap Boston Northwest. How you doing this morning, Electra?
I'm doing great, Kevin. How are you?
Just living the dream. Electra, I should have come on the show today because I've been reading a ton of articles about the challenges for small business owners to keep good employees. And it really made me think about that because now with work from home, I can work anywhere. So are you seeing small business owners struggling with losing their best employees?
It is a struggle right now, and I as you know, I bring business owners together. Top topic that comes up when we're in a round table is all around employees and how do you keep your top talent? And I have to say, sometimes we're reading articles that have advice, sometimes we're just saying, here's what I've done. One of the common things that I hear when it comes to really keeping employees engaged, and this is kind of at the heart of this, it's like if someone, so one of the pieces of advice is mission-driven companies who are very clear on what their mission is and the impact that they're having on the world, and the way they communicate that and really excite the folks who work there and inspire them to be a part of something big and meaningful. It's a huge differentiator, because when you have an employee that really relates to that impact, it's not just a dollar sign transaction, like you pay me this, I do this, and then I go home.
Yep.
That's kind of like minimum entry. You want someone who's really excited about what you do. And so putting that in the forefront about how you talk about the work that you do with your company, that stuff matters. Other things that employers really need to think about is, are you listening? Are you listening to what really is meaningful to your employees? And it can be very different things. And a mistake is often made saying, well, we'll just do this because I see other people doing this. And this could be, I don't know, we brought in a foosball table or we have bean bags. It kind of starts to be a joke almost, to say like, oh, okay, well, has anyone ever playing foosball? No. Okay. So question, listen. And if you go and don't just kind of mail this in, if you're going to ask questions around this, you got to listen and you got to respond, because there's nothing worse than starting that conversation and having it just kind of go, okay, that was good. Nothing changes.
Yep.
And so, many employers are looking for balance. Like the remote work has entered a whole new realm of expectations around work-life balance and really integrating work into your life differently because of what remote work offers.
Sure.
So often, earlier pre-COVID, a lot of places was like, it won't work. We don't do it.
Yeah.
Now we know that it can work. Done well, it can work. There's always things you have to compensate for. Like, do you still feel like you're a part of a team? Are you still attached to the mission I just talked about?
No, because there's been a lot of articles around that, Electra, like, hey, I chose to work from home, but because I'm not in the office interacting with the boss and the team, am I going to get the same, chances for advancement, because maybe I don't feel like I'm part of the team. You really made me smile because you gave me a bad flashback. I worked in a company and we did that. We did an employee survey. And I remember when we did it, one of the vice presidents was like, look, this is a great idea, but you're going to be sad when you hear the results because a lot of people are unhappy. And we did it and we were sad and we didn't do anything. And then, like, to your point, they just got mad at, well, you asked us, we told you the things we're looking for, and you didn't do any of it. And even just talking to my students now, 4 years ago, I remember asking, what's important to you? Money. This year, benefits, work from home, life balance. Years with younger generation. At first, they're like, Kev, I'll sell my soul, for the right amount of money. Now it's, I want work-life balance. I want to work in a company where I feel valued, that they're doing important things. I never would have thought of that when I was their age. just how much money do I make, and can I do the job, but
And I do. Well, and money in many cases, it's almost like it's table stakes. You got to be able to offer what's
Sure.
fairly competitive
Yeah,
for what you're asking someone to do. If you're really below market, you have to come in strong with other intangibles to make the equation work, because it's all about an equation.
yeah.
Um, Appreciation, showing appreciation for the work that people do.
Mm.
Even just a thank you. I noticed you. I saw you did this.
Right.
And some of this is training for people who are managers
Yeah.
to kind of look for that stuff. There's wonderful opportunities to help people see their contribution and really celebrate it,
I
because you
remember
can't feel lost.
many years ago, I went to a seminar and they taught us that. And it was crazy when I first did it because my employees weren't used to it. So someone did something and I stopped and like, hey, I just want to let you know you did an amazing job today. You've had that problem, you went out of your way to come up with a solution. And they looked at me like, oh my God. I'm like, it's true, and like I said, that was probably worth more than anything, they're like, you
Exactly.
acknowledged me, and stuff. And just taking the time to do that, making it specific, I saw you do,
Yes.
and that was amazing. I love the way you handled that customer complaint today. People just really want to feel, important. Hey, so I saw this quote on
Mhm.
Instagram today, right? I want your help with it. It says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. What does that mean?
It's I love it. It's an interesting quote. It's Peter Drucker. And at the heart of what he's saying is you can have the most perfectly conceived strategy for your business. And if you don't have a strong culture, it's almost like a non-starter. It's like forget about the strategy. It's gone out the window because your culture does not support what your strategy needs. And so you're fighting such strong headwinds. Good luck to you. And so it really underscores, and culture is in this remote work landscape. A lot of people are talking about culture. I don't want to lose my culture. But one of the first things you got to think about is like, as we talk about being a leader in an organization, part of your job is to think about the culture that you want in your company and be an active creator, and someone who really stands for the heart of your culture. It's one thing to have a great value statement, but have you ever been in a thing in which here's the value statement and then you see activity after activity that goes against what
Yes.
you proclaim? It's a nightmare.
Yes.
And talk about cynicism. So what enters the room when that scenario happens?
Yeah.
You first of all, you're kind of viewed as like management is talking out of both sides of their head, and I don't respect that. And do I want to follow that? And so you talk about a uphill battle now. And now let's talk strategy. You guys need to work an extra how many hours because we're trying to get this thing happening. And you haven't created the environment for success. And so a part of managing to a strong culture is one, clearly define the culture you want. If you want a culture of innovation, that means you want to invite risk takers in who are willing to, perhaps speak what seems like a crazy idea, but the culture welcomes someone to share about a crazy idea without other people in the room saying, well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
You need to embrace the fact that innovation takes iteration. It takes a communal, sometimes I love the idea and I think about it like this. And that interaction starts to form something amazing and leads to innovative products and ideas and solutions. But if you're managing a meeting and in someone throws that idea out and they get shut down as stupid and crazy, if someone doesn't stand for like, that's inappropriate,
Right.
we don't do that, silence is deadly in that moment.
Absolutely.
because the message is that was perfectly okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's worth a try. But I was in the company that had their mission statement hanging up on the wall throughout the whole building. And anytime something would go wrong, people would point at it going, it's on the wall, Electra. It's, anytime someone violated, they point, it's on the wall in every room. And
Yeah,
take it down then if you're not going to follow it, type of
exactly.
thing. So culture,
It
it's a lot harder to create than
it
people.
is.
You read this
It,
article like Zappos or something like, oh, we should do that, and it's just like, okay, you have, like I said, you have to create it and get the right people who are willing to think outside the box. Not like
stand for it.
if I do, then a lecturer is going to yell at me if I did something wrong, like, oh, you shouldn't have gave that refund, Electra. That's a lot of money back. So it's creating it and having the right people, and sometimes having to go, okay, I just gotta let Kev go, because I joke, if you listen to me long enough, I have a good idea. There's probably 12 that are horrible in a row. So you gotta wait for 13, 14 sometimes, but I'll get there. It just, we were doing it before the show, running ideas by you. Like, what do you think of this? You have to create that. And it's a lot harder than it thinks, than people think it is.
It's true. And really the fact that, everyone has to safeguard that culture. And it gets harder when everyone's remote.
And even
Be-
as you grow,
yeah.
I've had friends work in small companies. We remember when we did this, when they could, Friday afternoon stop and, everyone has a barbecue together. Now we have 700 employees, we don't do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend work in a company that tried that, and people like, I have work to do. It's like, okay, we're trying to create this. We want to reward you for a good quarter or whatever. And you're like, yeah, I got stuff to do. Thanks anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes it's getting the right people and having management go, Electra, come on, have a hamburger with us, okay?
Yeah.
That's
No, it
what I
matters.
need you to do right now for me.
I need you to show up here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You
it's just
know, even like this, like think about the start of a meeting. You might spend 5 minutes chit-chatting,
yeah,
sharing what you did over the weekend, commiserating on something that maybe didn't go so well. Those those moments are in terms of like breeding a feeling of team and that we connect to each other much more than on a transactional work basis matters when the going gets tough. It matters that you have people you can rely upon because you know each other better. And let's face it, it doesn't always go well. And you need to be able to go to your team saying, oh my God, I need help.
yeah.
This is going sideways.
Yep, I agree with that. I've worked in environments where we have that, where like, Electra, we're a team. I got you. Don't worry about it. Other times it's like, I want to watch you fail, Electra. It's in my best interest to watch you fail, because then I'm gonna be the golden child now, because you did this and it didn't work. I mean, that doesn't work when we're all hoping the
That's
other
true.
person falls and stuff. You're like,
Yeah.
I got to step over Electra to move up. So I'm hoping something, no one wants to
It's
work in that environment, because
you.
eventually you're the one getting stepped on. It does create some tension and stuff. So let's talk. Last question. I want to talk a little bit more about the board you created. Can we go over
Yes,
that
sir.
a little bit so people understand what that is?
Absolutely. It's boards for business owners. And we get together monthly, and it's an opportunity. Sometimes we're talking about a topic like, say, hiring, and we might bring an expert in, or we might go deep on what are some current trends. So we may have a focused topic, but at the end of the day, we reserve most of the meeting for every business owner to be able to talk about something that's strategically important in their business. It could be a challenge, it could be an opportunity. But what we all are acting as is almost like we're acting as a board of directors. Smaller companies don't necessarily have that luxury. And as a business owner, it's hard to be the only person with the ideas and the execution and all of that. So
True.
you sit around with other people who know exactly what it means to be the business owner. And they understand, and we've all tried things, we've all succeeded,
Mhm.
we've all failed, and we share that wisdom, and then we make a commitment for action. See, it's
That's
great
nice.
to have that conversation, but we got to have a plan of action. And so at the end of that discussion, what are you doing in the next 30 days about what we just talked about? And
Nice.
we're going to hear about it next
Accountability.
time.
That's a big thing, is accountability. But like you said, sometimes as a sole owner, I don't have anyone to talk to. If I'm, hey, should I do this? I don't want to go and ask my team, like, hey, I'm going to make this decision that could make or break the company. I don't think I want my boss telling me that, going, so if this is wrong, I might lose my job. It's not, they just don't have the skill set to help and stuff. So
Yeah.
having something like that with people, I remember when I made that decision too, Electra. You want to go left, I went right. It's a dead
Yes.
end street. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
This is everything I can think about that you should know. Now I fed you what you need. Now I help you make a decision. That is
Absolutely.
really, really cool. So if someone has an interest in the boards or anything else we've spoken about today, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, I'd love to hear from you. If you are on LinkedIn, find me on LinkedIn, connect, message me. But you can also email me at electra@tabbostonnw.com. And I love talking with hungry business owners. They want something to happen in their business. Let's figure it out and let's go after it.
Awesome, Electra. I really appreciate you taking a couple minutes to call to the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thanks so much, Kevin.